Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 15, verse 7. And here Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying very, very clearly that we are parts and parcels of God. So I'm sure this is a verse that the impersonalists quote often to explain that, because it can probably be interpreted in multiple ways. I'm not sure. I'm not really interested at this point to go dive into the impersonalist point of view. I'm very, very solid and comfortable in my perception and my belief system that we are separate. So I'm just going to go with that right now. I'm just going to read the commentaries of this out and go with that. If you want to, then you can go and look at probably Swami Sarvapriyananda. He has done Gita studies, so you can probably search for this verse 15:7 if you want to understand their point of view as well. Okay, so let's call out to Krishna and let's ask him to help us understand. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please, please, please help us understand these verses. Then thank you for giving us this enormous, enormous amount of information that people earlier, even 100 years ago, had so much harder of a time to understand because they didn't have internet and they weren't able to access this kind of stuff. And because Prabhupada hadn't spread it across the world, so it was even in India, even those people who were living in Calcutta probably did not have that much access because it wasn't easy to even know about this stuff, or it wasn't known. It was very, very secretive. It's still very secretive, I'm realizing. I mean, there are so many things that are not told even now, like that are starting to be told, but that are so difficult to understand. And we just need to keep at it and just keep pushing and keep at it in order to understand. So thank you, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, for giving us all of this. Okay, so let's sing the verse. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः पष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. This is the most important part. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind. Okay, so the most important part here, I think, is Mamai Vamshaha. Mamai Vamshaha is the first word here. Mamai Vamsha means fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. We are not we're eternal. So another thing here that is important is Sanatanaha. Sanatanaha here is eternal. So because we're eternal, we cannot be broken. I mean, we're always eternal. So this fragment is always eternal. It's not like it can be cut to pieces and joined together again. So we weren't cut away from God and we can be joined again. We are eternally fragmental parts of God. So this is what the thing is here for, I think, for the impersonalists. In the beginning of the second chapter, each individual body is a fragmental portion. That's also there. Okay, so Sanatana, and this thing is important here. And then he talks about other things like, eternal Karshati, struggling. We are Karshati, we're struggling, is bound, shackled by iron chains, basically because of the ego, which is driving us. It's so bad, this ego. Like I find it just, I can feel it holding on to me and not letting me attain Krishna. Like sometimes I can just feel it. It's palpable. It's like I'm competing with everybody. Like I should not be. And then I'm like, when I realize that, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And then I bring myself down. But for that moment, it's like, oh my goodness, I want this. I want to be the biggest person. I want to be the biggest bhakt. I want to be the biggest devotee. I want to be like whatever, And then I'm like, okay. Ego, calm down. You're not going to get Krishna like that. Krishna prem, not Krishna even. Krishna prem. Okay. Okay, so, and he says the same thing here. Embodied souls are eternal fragmental parts. So eternal is Sanatan and fragmental parts is Mamai Vamsha. My Ansha is the part. But bound by material nature, struggling with the six senses, including the mind. So let's read Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you ask why the jiva has two kinds of states, then listen. I'm the complete Satchidanand Bhagwan. I have two kinds of expansions, Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. That's what he talks about here also. Swamsha is direct forms of God, like avatars such as Ram, Narsimha, Bhagwan, Varaha, all that. Vibhinnansha is what we are, the souls, right? All souls are there. And then Vibhinnansha, there is Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha, which I knew, but then there is Sadhan Siddha also. Nitya Siddha, who have always resided in with God. Nitya Baddha, like us, who have fallen into this thing. And so we are struggling in samsara, in this material world. And Sadhan Siddha, who practice sadhan and attain the Supreme Lord, and now reside in divine realm for the rest of eternity. So people do say that Nitya Baddhas can fall again, but then we're Sadhan Siddha, not Nitya Baddha. So, okay. So yeah, he's talking about this with Swamsha and Vibhinsha. As Swamsha, I engage in pastimes in the forms of Ram Narsimha. Vibhinsha, I manifest jivas, who are my eternal servitors. Manifesting as Swamshas, my aham tattva, I-ness, fully exists. Manifesting as Vibhinamshas, my aham tattva does not exist, because it's not, in that the jivas naturally develop their own aham tattva, which I am is like the jivas I am not God, I am a jiva. The principle of the jiva as a vibhinamsha has two states, the liberated state and the bound state. So that's Nitya Siddha and Sadhan Siddha. And in both states, the jiva is sanatan, eternal. In the liberated state, the jiva is fully under my shelter and devoid of any connection with matter. In the bound state, they're bound by the five senses and the mind. So it becomes attached to them and attracted to them. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll do chapter 15, verse 8 in the next video. Wish you a day filled with lots and lots and lots of Krishna prem and spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.